Gunn's Gooners are over the moon that Superman has officially crossed $500 million worldwide. And you know what? When I seen that news, right? Because we'll take a look at the box office here very shortly. I was somewhat happy for the film as well, even though I know that it's a total steaming pile of garbage. Like a sweet summer child, I do have hope for the grander DCU because, yeah, there are other talented people that can come on and do something with all of these vastly underserved characters, but then you end up getting confirmation that James Gunn is going to be working on a sequel for Superman. It's like, oh, for fuck's sakes. Why does everything that I love have to burn down? But I guess now I can just join everybody else to see the rest of their shit just, emulated in real time. I got that kick in the nuts with a Final Fantasy franchise because here I was thinking for years at this point that, I heard good things about Final Fantasy 16 and then I played it. Holy shit, is that abominable. But I've talked about that at length long enough. But yeah, finally getting a Superman film. Finally getting it to kick off a universe where you can have a proper Superman interact with a proper Batman and Green Lantern and Flash and Martian Manhunter, Wonder Woman and all this fun stuff. Do shit with these big bombastic timeless superheroes, but no, get some white-haired hack playing to his ego and very few other people. And now he's going to be running Superman and the rest of DC into the ground for the next decade. Fucking yay. So in exchange on Threads, DC Studios co-CEO and filmmaker James Gunn has confirmed he's actively writing a sequel to the Superman reboot. Great. Very solid advice, James. Now that Superman is out and the press tour is finished, do you have any time to relax? Yeah, Peacemaker press, because, yeah, we can't, have Peacemaker at the center of his own marketing, even though it was like John Cena's also incredibly busy, being WWE champion and all, but no. James Gunn needs to go out on the press tour for that fucking abominable show. Fantastic. And sequel writing. Oh, Christ almighty. Why would you no? But yes, when are you going to tease the sequel? I just did. Oh, god damn it. So the revelation came in response to fans, inquiring about the post-release plans, and the casual social media drop has ignited conversation among DC fans, and honestly, it just kind of makes me upset. Well, but kind of that implies that I'm not really fussed about it, but it could be a take it or leave it scenario. No, I'm actually kind of fuming inside, but then again, for as much as I'm upset about this, I also have to realize that, entertainment has kind of been in a death spiral full stop for years and years at this point in time. So yeah, just when you hope that the DCU could potentially end up bucking the trend, no, James Gunn's ego has to rear its ugly head another time. But yeah, back to the box office, right? Because it crossed $500 million worldwide, but Superman hits $300 million after 21 days. Still trails a Man of Steel and Batman. And yeah, that's where things get a little bit more funny. Because when you do the comparisons, okay, Superman, Man of Steel apparently have the same production budgets, fucking lol. You can take a look at the handy dandy graph, and well, Superman's in red, Man of Steel is in yellow, but the Batman from 2022 is in blue, and as you can see, the yellow is down a little bit, and the red is up there, and it's doing pretty well, but now it's starting to very much lag behind Batman. There was a point in time where it was, neck and neck with the 2022 release, and you didn't even need to really adjust for inflation, because it would only change a little bit. Apparently, in on and around was at $27 million before we get to the, the numbers in the graph. But honest to God, it's going to end up falling behind Matt Reeves' Batman, and there's probably a reason why James Gunn, whenever he wants to talk about the Batman 2 or anything that Matt Reeves is doing, he has to be kind of a passive-aggressive bitch about that, because he knows that if Batman 2 comes out and it's as well-received or even a fraction as well-received as the Penguin was, he's going to be in trouble. And ultimately, by this time next month, by Labor Day weekend, which is wild to think about that we're almost through with summer. Fuck, where did the year go? When we're able to put a bow on Superman's box office, given the fact that, as we sit right now, at time of recording, Thursday evening, $513 million worldwide. Not great, okay? It'll obviously cross over to $300 million domestically, but this weekend kind of hit a point of, diminishing returns, and legendary domestic box office hold, that's for sure. But now, yeah, man, now we're getting to a point where, okay, cool, you're getting $3 million on a Wednesday, $4 million on a Tuesday. You're still not even coming close to flirting with a 6-digit day in theaters. But when it comes to your weekends, I mean, last weekend you ended up getting what, $29 million? Just doing some very rough math right there. Yeah, 29, just about $30 million. Let's just go ahead and, round up for fun. What do you anticipate this time around? 15? Maybe 20 if you're being exceptionally generous, but probably closer to that 12 to 15 range. That's probably where you're going to land, given your other holds, your 50 to 55%. So yeah, we talk about the box office numbers for Superman, and it's probably going to be somewhere around 5.25 next, or rather on Tuesday. And well, you take a look at that unadjusted for inflation worldwide total for Man of Steel, that's 667. Superman's never going to hit that. And it's definitely not even going to come close to the Batman, which already, just going back to 2022, seeing a Batman movie not break 800, 900, $1 billion, that's pretty catastrophic. But that's all right. That's all right. The cope around this is Superman can go ahead and lose money. It's all about generating good word of mouth for the franchise moving forward. And plus, I mean, you take a look, okay, and it's already, even internationally, even with those bad international numbers, it's just about made back its budget because theaters put movies on screens out of just sheer acts of charity, right? Like they don't take half of the domestic and they don't take 60 to 75% of the international take. No, that's definitely not the case at all, that you don't need to make 2.5 times your marketing and production budget in order to break even. No, that's not the case at all whatsoever. The movie cost, because James Gunn said it cost $225 million, and $300 million is more than $225 million, so go fuck your mother. Superman is a hit. Well, let's just take a look behind the curtain. Let's go listen to the Wizard of Oz himself. And Superman and Fantastic Four budgets soar past $350 million. Well, we know for sure Superman because we've seen the, Ohio tax receipts, unless, of course, James Gunn and the DCU are committing tax fraud, that this film cost $363 million. So, yeah, I don't know where anybody came to the conclusion that this is $225 million. Tax breaks and incentives. It's like, well, how much money did you spend? Well, $225 million of it's taxable. That's not the question that I asked. Well, the Cosmic Book News was at Comic-Con over the weekend. A Hollywood Insider filled in Cosmic Book News with both James Gunn, Superman, and Fantastic Four have blown past the reported budgets, with each now costing over $350 million, even though, Fantastic Four is being reported at $200 and $225 for Superman. The ballooning costs were mainly due to extensive reshoots for both films. Yeah, no, that totally makes sense both ways. James Gunn, at least, for his part, did announce that Superman was going for reshoots. And by the way that I've heard people describe Fantastic Four and the way that it's been cut around, and, well, we know that, John Malkovich, his entire role got cut out of the film. So, yeah, there was a lot of shit going on. There were a bunch of moving parts on this one. And so that makes sense. So in Gunn Superman, from what we're told, one sequence reportedly involved a scene where Clark Kent yells at Lois Lane for over 10 minutes. Something we were told that test audiences absolutely hated. Yeah, that was supposed to be that elongated interview scene. And yeah, you were going to have bitchy emotional Superman even more so in the film. But that's alright because he smiled and people like David Corenswet. Cool. Gunn also acknowledges that test audiences disliked the now infamous squirrel scene, but he kept it in anyways. And also, what was it? Was it Ultraman or was it Lex? I think it was Ultraman who was supposed to kick Krypto. But because James Gunn likes dogs, he didn't want to keep that in there. Oh, and test audiences didn't like that the bad guy kicked a dog. Yeah, long story short, if Superman's budget really is north of $350 million, which interestingly enough lines up with the Cleveland, Ohio tax document Gunn previously dismissed, that would put the film's break-even point at the massive $875 million. Yeah, exactly. And it's never even going to come close to sniffing that number. It will be lucky to break 600 million. It'll probably be, in on and around that mark, give or take 10 bills, probably. That's all right. That's all right. Because it's all about setting up the DCU moving forward. And it's just been so easy to make sense of, right? And well, because James Gunn, like he said before, he's on James Gunn's press tour for James Gunn's Peacemaker, a part of James Gunn's DCU. But what exactly is a part of the DCU? Because the Peacemaker's in a very interesting position because the character was introduced at a point in time where Warner Brothers didn't really know what to do with the success of the Snyder Cut, and well, they were still flirting with The Rock to take over DC, and they were, sending out feelers to James Gunn whether or not he wanted to come on board to potentially do Superman. Does he want to take on DC? And so the Suicide Squad introduced Peacemaker, and then he got his own show that was run by James Gunn, and James Gunn brought in all of his friends and family, as he always does with all of his productions. And so while that series was launched, I think 2022 or 2023, must have been 2022, because I think it was ahead of Gunn taking full control. So you've got a season 2 of a series that is a holdover from the old regime. So how are we going to square this circle if you're bringing him into the fold? Like, what kind of additional baggage is that going to involve? Well, it's as clear as it gets, guys. Okay, because Peacemaker season 2, everything in Creature Commandos. Okay, well, yeah, that was very much announced to be a part of the DCU, so that makes sense. Superman and Peacemaker season 2. All right, that's everything moving forward. All right, follow you so far. Everything shown and previously seen on Peacemaker season 2 is canon. Okay, so we're just going to pick and choose from season 1 what's going to be a part of season 2 and the wider canon. All right, and anything they talk about happening in the old DC universe becomes canon. Oh yeah, and then everything we think about afterwards, yeah, that's not going to contradict or anything. We're just going to go ahead and bring that forward into the fold. Fantastic stuff. And James Gunn is not quite done yet about talking about future projects and how that's going to affect the wider canon, because there was one point in time, right? Because the next movie that's coming out for DC is Supergirl, which is a terrible decision, about one of the worst that you could do. The second worst would have been The Authority. Like, hey guys, you like The Boys? Well, DC has a team that's like The Boys, but for the Justice League. And before we have a proper Justice League, before we even have like a proper Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Flash, or really any foundational members of the Justice League, we'll bring in apathetic, ironic Justice League with The Authority, because that's great. That's just such a smart fucking decision. But no. James Gunn indicates that it's The Authority that is in trouble, not Swamp Thing, not Sergeant Rock. Which, yeah, haven't cast Aquaman, haven't cast really anybody else, but no, we're going to have a Sergeant Rock movie. Fucking what? But no, there was rumors, not that long ago, that one of the previously announced films ended up getting axed because the script was looking a bit flumpy, and when we got that news, I posited that maybe it was Clayface, because we heard that it needed a total page 1 rewrite because Mike Flanagan's script wasn't actually good. But then, like, the day after, he came out with the casting of the Welsh guy who's going to be Clayface, and it's like, oopsie daisy, I guess it's not that one. And then there was rumors that, yeah, it was going to be Sergeant Rock, and then recently I seen something on Swamp Thing, but apparently it's The Authority, which I already thought was canned. So, okay. But there's more clarity about the DC project. Projects are considered either canceled or at least experiencing interruptions. Studio head James Gunn is directly clearing the air with new comments, and he has added a new title to the bubble/chopping block. As reported by Games Radar, Gunn spoke the Straw Hat Goofy, TikToker who inquired about the status of The Authority, which has been radio silent since its announcement, despite the engineer being integral to the plot of Superman. Gunn then started laughing, when asked if the Authority movie wasn't going so well at this stage, and didn't really have an answer. Instead, he focused on what DC has in the pipeline, including a duly delayed Swamp Thing and Sergeant Rock. All right, then. We got some really cool stuff happening. We got Supergirl coming out this year. In a year, rather. We got Lanterns coming out probably less than a year. Some good stuff, some really good stuff. What about The Authority? We got good stuff coming. All right. We're making Clayface right now. Oh, cool. And that is, the script by Mike Flanagan. It's so good. Straight horror. And we're working on Brave and the Bold. Yeah, that's Batman. Wonder Woman, the Batman 2 with Matt Reeves. We're working on that. We're working on Sergeant Rock. Yeah, cool. But as for The Authority, yeah, don't call us. We'll call you. Something else that is apparently in the works. Something that in my monkey brain, right? I see a headline like this and it's like, ooh, that's pretty cool. But then I remember, it's 2025 and it's going to be ass regardless of what they do. It's just going to be more keys to jangle because Marvel's about to spend their last remaining token in 2026 with Avengers Doomsday. And James Gunn is going to get slapped in the face with reality when Supergirl fucking bombs at the theater next year. Because holy shit, is that thing gonna move at the fucking speed of smell. But a DC Marvel crossover, okay, a big event like that, yeah, that's about the only thing post the Doomsday that's gonna do fuck all with the superhero genre. And so, yeah, I could see both companies, as desperate as they are to maintain just a modicum of relevance, because there was just recently a Batman and Deadpool comic book crossover, hence why those two pictures are right there. I think that's selling pretty well, or at least there's enough hype around that. So yeah, big crossover. I mean, that would definitely put butts in seats. Like I said, like that's a very tantalizing proposition. But in seeing that the Russo brothers and James Gunn are involved, it's like, oh fuck, it's just gonna suck anyway. So at Comic-Con, a Hollywood insider told Cosmic Book News there are active discussions happening about a DC v a Marvel movie, and that both Gunn and the Russo brothers are on board. The source pointed to a recent Deadpool Batman comic crossover announcement as a sign of the intercompany collaborations are closer than anyone thinks. Recently at Comic-Con, DC and Marvel unveiled a variant cover that shows Deadpool with the Infinity Gauntlet featuring both DC and Marvel characters. Oh cool. I know all of those things. Recently at Comic-Con, there was actually like a ton of things that were teased and noted as well. And yeah, there you have all of these characters that have been, pilfered over at Marvel. So funny that they have Jeff, the little land shark, is made, well, I know he's been in the comics beforehand, but realistically got brought to the forefront with Marvel Rivals. Yeah, Rocket Raccoon, what's he doing out there? Especially when you have, Captain America and Daredevil, but really nobody else. But yeah, look at all of those characters that just have no fate and no presence at all in the current day DCU, or at least not yet. They do have a Hal Jordan, but that's about it, right? Decent looking cover for the first time I can say that about a, mainstream comic book in a while. But James Gunn has also publicly hinted at the idea before in a recent Rolling Stone interview. The outlet pointed to a copy of Superman Spider-Man crossover comic book from the 70s in a sitting table. Yeah, Gunn said, oh yeah, I really like money, so we would contemplate the idea. I'm sure it got more in-depth than that, but yeah, man, long story short, DC is it's already dead on arrival. We've kind of known that for a while, and James Gunn is just continuing to double down on James Gunn, and reality's unfortunately not going to smack him right in the face until about a year from now with the release of Supergirl, and that being a catastrophic failure. But hey, all good things come to those who wait. It's just unfortunate that a lot of people who remember 1989 Batman, or even some of the, cheesier Joel Schumacher affairs, or especially The Dark Knight, it's just going to be a long old fucking time before you can say that there's a good DC film out there. We're unfortunately going to have to wait quite a while longer. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Coswell, and watch you follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.